So this isn't the type of video that I usually do, but man, I had to talk about this because last week, okay, last Wednesday, this is unscripted, by the way. I don't really ever do unscripted videos. My videos are always heavily scripted, very edited, but I just wanted to talk about this movie because also, yes, as you can tell, I'm pretty sick by my voice, but last week a movie came out, a pretty anticipated movie. It was called Eternals, right, from Marvel Studios. I think we've all heard of it. And I'm going to be completely honest. I was not prepared for how bad Eternals was going to be. Like, obviously we all have expectations, and the trailers looked really bland and boring. And sometimes I think a boring movie can be good, right? Sometimes, like I think Dune is boring, and Dune is really good. So that's not it, okay? The problem is not the fact that it's boring, but the problem is it's trying to go for a tone that doesn't work with the type of movie that it is. So I've heard a lot of people coming out and defending this movie. They're saying, "Oh, this movie has great representation," which, hey, it does. You know, there's a gay character in it, and he does not feel forced into the story. It was just like, he's gay, and that's it. You know, that's fine. I think that's good. You know, if we can have representation in movies like that, where it's just kind of hidden, I don't think a lot of people will care. So the normal people will just kind of not care. And the people who love representation, or like, representation is everything, they'll be happy. So I think representation, when it's handled like that, is a really good thing. So obviously there are positives. So let me just start with some positives. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff in the movie. So the movie has a lot of cool stuff in it, like the Celestials, and it has a lot of cool backstory on why planets exist, you know, and how the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it came to be. And I think stuff like that is just awesome, okay? I seriously think this movie was almost necessary, you know, maybe as a Disney Plus series or something, because there's so much cool stuff in this movie, okay? I think the Deviants are pretty dope as well. There's just all kinds of really cool stuff. There's some cool post-credit scenes. There's some cool individual scenes here and there. But everything else sucked, okay? I thought the characters sucked. The acting was extremely bland and boring, and some of the line delivery, here, you can tell it's unscripted. Normally, I would edit that out. Right now, I don't really care. The line delivery in this movie was really off-putting at times. Like, it did not feel like two people having a conversation. It felt like really super scripted. You can even go back to, like, my earliest videos, like the one about Coco. You could tell that I'm just like reading off of a script, and how it got better a couple videos in. So I felt like the movie just needed a couple more takes in a lot of scenes. It was just not, you know, it felt really, really dry. Also, the CG on those deviants, my God, they looked absolutely hideous. God, that was horrendous to look at. Like, I'm just thinking back on it right now. They looked terrible, and there was one that kept like growing smarter and smarter, and I hated it. I hated every single second of it. So there's a lot. There's good stuff in the movie. Okay, there seriously is. I think the Celestials are super duper cool. I was really happy to finally see some Celestials other than Ego, the living planet, which I still am a firm believer of the theory that Ego is the Nowhere head, because he was just a brain floating in space, and Nowhere is a head without a brain in it currently. And he does state that he was at one point, or is, a Celestial. So there's that. So Eternals just sucks, man. So listen, I don't go into these movies wanting to love or hate them. You know, and every time a new Marvel movie comes out, I go into the movie hoping to be entertained, hoping to laugh, and sometimes when the movie is really, really good, I end up taking something away from it. Like Infinity War was just a masterpiece of modern filmmaking. So is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Those are, I think, are the two real, like, only movies in the MCU that I would consider to be, like, actual, truly great, excellent, amazing pieces of film. The rest is all just kind of on a spectrum from kind of bad and bland to okay to pretty good. And sometimes an okay to pretty good Marvel movie is just what you wanted. Earlier this year we got Black Widow, and I enjoyed that just fine. I didn't think it was anything excellent. I thought it was a little bit too hammy at some points, but I also kind of enjoyed it. And then we got Shang-Chi earlier this year, which I did not do a review on, which was one of the better MCU movies. I'd say that movie's a solid 7.5 out of 10. It was wonderful. And then you get Eternals, which is just... And it's not that it's not conventional. Okay, I like unconventional movies. Okay, for example, I really like Star Wars The Last Jedi, right? That movie has a completely unconventional story structure. It's like a 4-act story structure with sort of 4 side plots going on that are all equally important. There's not really an A and a B or a C plot. Eternals it's just a complete mess. Like, it takes about 3/4 of the movie for them to get to the point. And as well as at the end, the plan that they make is so stupid because we don't really get to see the plan forming. I'd like to see them make a plan on how to actually defeat this thing that's happening. I'm going to stay out of spoilers real quick. But yeah, man, the plan is just kind of out of nowhere. It's kind of like that complaint that we all had about Avengers Endgame, where they were all like, yeah, follow the plan, but we never actually saw them coming up with a plan. So it kind of allows the movie to be a little bit more loose, which a lot of us can also see as a bad excuse to just write a shitty movie. And then there's also, at the end, there's this reveal, there's one character that wants to be human, and then another character's just like, oh yeah, I apparently have that power to make you human now from whatever we just did. I don't know. It's just weird, but not in a good way. I like weird movies, man. I give a lot of weird movies a pass for just being very out there, but this movie just did not do it. Like I said, there's a lot of good stuff in the movie, but that good stuff does not make a good cohesive whole. It's kind of why I'm so worried about Spider-Man No Way Home, because the movie is looking like I'm going to really love it, right? There's going to be so much stuff in that movie that I'm going to absolutely adore. Like, I'm going to love to see Doc Ock again, even though I think, those movies should stay separated from the MCU, whatever. I'm still going to love seeing Doc Ock again in Spider-Man No Way Home, and all the other villains, but is that all going to make for a cohesive narrative? Is that all going to make for a good movie, or is it just going to be like, yeah, here's cool stuff? Because you can keep throwing cool stuff in the movie like Eternals did, but that doesn't mean it's going to work as one collective whole, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of my biggest problem with Eternals. It just doesn't work. And Chloe Zhao's direction style as well, it's very boring, very flat. The movie doesn't really pop at all visually. I mean, I think the 3D conversion was really good again by Stereo D. Those guys always kill it with the 3D conversions. But yeah, Eternals, man, I'm not going to say it's disappointing because I'm not sure what I was expecting from it, but it was definitely not this. I was expecting something to be mildly okay, and this movie is not even mildly okay. It is a mess tonally, visually, even acting-wise. There's also this little girl, Celestial, called Sprite, who I just could not stand. I'm sorry. I think the actress is probably a great person. Like I said, nothing against all the people that made this movie. I do not like a product that you guys made. I have nothing against you guys at all. So yeah, I don't know. I think Eternals is just Marvel Studios' first big miss. And you see the disconnect on Rotten Tomatoes with audiences and critics right now. And it just shows what I've always said, is that audiences care about cool stuff being in a movie. And the critics are the ones that care about how is the movie actually well constructed. Does that cool stuff work within the movie? Because audiences are going to love it when you put cool stuff in. They're just going to be like, hey, I love seeing that. But critics are going to look at it and go, does this work as a movie? And the audience is just going to go, oh my God, big Celestials, awesome, really cool lore. And yeah, that stuff is all really cool. I agree with you, and I'm really glad it's there. But I did not like the movie. It's kind of like one of those really bad, drawn-out, boring novels, right? I love those drawn-out, boring Star Wars books that just fill out the lore in the universe, right? They're bad, they're boring. I would not want to watch Tarkin, the book, or Darth Plagueis, the book, as a movie, because it would kind of suck and the structure would make no sense and all that. But it's really cool lore-wise, so it's kind of... Eternals is like really cool supplementary material, but as a movie, it's just too long, drawn out, and just really, really, really boring, and it does not work for me. So yeah, that's what I think about Eternals. if I had to give this movie a grade, honestly, last week when I walked out of it, I would have given it probably like a 5 out of 10, just below average. But it's sunken in my mind to like a 3. It's not insultingly bad, okay? It's not like a movie that you're going to see and you're going to feel like your intelligence has been insulted, but it's just a bummer, man. I was hoping for a better movie. I think we all were, but hey, what can you do? I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe. My next video will probably be very well edited and scripted again, but this is just one of those things where I just had to get my thoughts out, man. So, yeah. See you guys next time. God, Eternals, what a downer.